The UK election officials are not keeping any record of how many overseas donors are bankrolling UK politics. We're going to read into this piece from Barlow Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Barlow Times with a headline that UK election officials are not keeping any records of how many overseas donors are bankrolling UK politics. Democracy campaigners are calling for an urgent reform of UK electoral laws as Nigel Farage's party launches a fundraising drive among voters living in overseas tax havens. Just a reminder, hit that like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. Why do we want overseas money coming into involving into our politics? This is buying political influence over us, over politicians who ultimately decide and dictate laws and policies within the UK. Why would you want foreign powers making those decisions? Because at the end of the day, that's exactly what this is. When you have foreign owners, foreign businesses putting their money and their wealth into British politics, politicians specifically, they don't do it out of the kindness of their heart. They do it because they want something in return. They want something back in doing so. Whether it is Reform UK or any other political party, it is very much a cause for concern. This kind of money is dangerous. It's hurting us. We're all still in a cost of living crisis. Are we really all, are any of us feeling better off? Have our lives improved under 14 years of the Conservatives? No. Have our lives improved since we've left the European Union? No. But, as always, people will always point and blame the fingers for things that are beyond their control. They'll blame immigrants. They'll blame the ECHR. They'll blame something else. They'll blame the war in Ukraine, Trump tariffs. But it's about what we can do here in the UK. British politicians are not doing enough to deal with the cost of living crisis. Let's be very, very clear about that. This Labour government have so far not done enough. They've done some good policies, but obviously what's been more highlighted is some of the bad policies, and rightfully so. The recent standing by the court's decisions has been nothing short of a catastrophe over transgender rights and there. But as long as there are foreign involvement into UK politics specifically, our lives will never improve because politicians will prioritise the needs of those who pay them, those who pay into their parties. You will never be the priority. You, the British public, will never be the priority as long as there is foreign influence and businesses and owners who have the influence over politicians. This is why it needs to be publicly funded political parties, not foreign funded. We need to weed out the corruption. It's wrong and it's dangerous, and you guys know it. Democracy campaigners have called for urgent reform of UK electoral law after Barlow Times revealed that the UK official election watchdog keeps no record of how many overseas donors are bankrolling British political parties. A Freedom of Information request from this paper asked how many reportable donations have been made to the major political parties by registered overseas voters since 2019. A request came after the last Conservative government abolished the 15-year rule, which previously barred British citizens who had lived abroad for more than 15 years from voting in UK elections. Because being a registered voter in the UK also comes with the right to make a political donation. This has increased the number of people being able to donate from abroad. 191,338 people registered and overseas voters ahead of the 2024 general election. However, the Electoral Commission responded that they do not keep any data on whether donations are from domestic or overseas voters. Why? Why would you not keep a record of that? This means that major donors could have come from Brits who have lived abroad for more than 50 years, including those living in hostile states who are interested in manipulating UK elections. The Electoral Commission said, anyone who is registered to vote in the UK can make donations to political parties and campaigners. This includes those British citizens living overseas and means that they are allowed to donate to political parties and campaigners in the UK. You're going to tell me there's not something wrong here? Political parties must report relevant donations. Those that are over the reporting thresholds to the Commission, and these are published in our register of donations. This is an important part of providing transparency to voters over the money donated to parties. When reporting donations, parties must include the name of individual donors and their address. However, the legislation, the Political Parties, Elections and Referendums Act 2000, does not allow us to publish the address of individual donors, including if they are overseas. The news that the Electoral Commission does not keep records of overseas donors comes as Reform UK announced that they are going on a donations drive among wealthy non-doms in Morocco, the United Arab Emirates and Switzerland. Nick Candy, Reform UK's treasurer, told the Financial Times that you have to be on the UK electoral register or the overseas electoral register to have a UK trading company. There are plenty of people in Monaco, Switzerland, the Isle of Man, and Guernsey who can meet both these criteria to donate. Candy also told the FT that we'll do events in restaurants, people's private homes and on yachts. Rose Whiffin of Transparency International said concerns were raised when the rules on overseas voting were changed. This would open the door to foreign funding of UK political parties. In such cases, it may be harder to detect individuals acting as a front for someone else and their money. Until the Electoral Commission discloses how much each party receives from overseas voters, the public will be in the dark about how significant this change has been. Without this data, our ability to monitor and safeguard our democratic process is easily curtailed. And this is where I see people in the comments saying, well, we're not a democratic country because of our electoral system. And you're absolutely right. I agree. Our electoral system is not democratic because, for example, where I live is a Labour majority. My vote, if I vote for any other party, doesn't have an effect whatsoever on local or general election because of how strong of a hold Labour have in my area. Susan Hawley, Executive Director of Spotlight on Corruption, has said that the government must get serious about ramping up the UK's protection against the risk of foreign interference in our elections. Having accurate public data that allows analysis of that risk is essential for that to happen. We would urge the Electoral Commission to ensure that there is data in the public domain about how many donations are made by overseas voters, how many overseas-based unincorporated associations have donated to political parties, given the particularly high risk these donations pose for foreign interference. Let's be absolutely clear here. There is foreign interference in UK politics. Whether it is Russia or whether it's from the Middle East, there is absolutely no question that there is political interference in British politics. Responding to the claim that a high percentage of donations have come from individuals in hostile states without the Electoral Commission being wary of it, a Ministry of Housing, Community and Local Government spokesperson said, there is no basis for this claim. Well, you can't prove it. Prove it. Overseas voters have the same right as domestic electors and are subject to the same counter-election fraud, and all major sources of donations are published by the Electoral Commission. Yeah, but you're not, because we don't know where they're addressed. You don't know that. You don't know that they come from Russia. You don't know if they come from a country that has, like, say, for instance, Saudi Arabia, which doesn't have a very good human rights record, for example. You don't know where that comes from. So how can you say that that there's no basis for the claim when there's no evidence for us to know that? Commenting on Reform UK's offshore fundraising drive, Labour Party spokesperson said, Nigel Farage and his friends are focusing on jet setting off to wine and dine on fancy yachts when it should be prioritising the needs of working people. You're more likely to find reforms splitting pina coladas than delivering your local town hall. Harley added, ultimately the government needs to get on with bringing forward electoral finance reform at the earliest opportunity to ensure multiple loopholes for foreign donations to enter UK politics are closed once and for all. I hope so, but I don't think Labour will go enough on it because Labour have already are being influenced in their own way by corporations and certain donations as well. And we know that they're being influenced by them because they've been getting them in the run up to the general election. We had several reports of businesses and individuals donating to the Labour Party before they even came to power. So we know that they're going to be under some sort of influence. So while they talk tough there, do I really expect them to actually close all the loopholes and ensure to give free and fair democracy for the British public? No, I really don't buy that for a second. And you shouldn't buy it either. Even if Labour are doing some good things, obviously, the majority of things are highlighted in bad because of the way the media comes across it. But nonetheless, foreign donations are a major problem. It is a major issue. Well, honestly, what do you guys think about all this? What do you make about donations? Why, if you don't have a problem with any of this, why? Explain why you think it's okay. Why do you think that people, private companies, and individuals should have a say on everything that is run in politics? Why should they decide your futures? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comments section below. If you found this video interesting, informative, or helpful in any way, shape, or form, hit that like button, share it across social media, subscribe if you haven't to already, and do check out the Rumble and Patreon content for exclusive content on those platforms as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.